guys, Zach here with Rigid Inspections, and today I'm going to show you some common mistakes on a new roof. So real quick, actually, before we climb up here, I want you to look. You see we got some soffit venting, which is how it is on the front and rear of the house, but there's also a gable vent up there, and it's not one that is aesthetic. I know sometimes they'll put an aesthetic one on there and it's not actually functional, but that's a working one. And you'll see once we get up here that there's no ridge vent. So the venting combination on this roof is literally soffit and gable, which is not proper. But the builder's excuse is it's got the proper square footage that's required by code, so whatever. First issue we see a lot of times is right underneath here. You see the drip edge. The gutter is installed over top of the drip edge. See it all the time on new construction. I don't know why they do that, but it defeats the purpose of drip edge, because you could see here there's a lip. Camera up here. There's a lip right here at the bottom of the drip edge. So you got this part here that hangs over. That's where the water hits. It comes down the drip edge, and this lip flips it up over into the gutter. Well, they cover that lip up, and you can see part of it right here with the gutter. So it completely defeats the purpose of the drip edge, and water's able to go back behind here and actually miss the gutter. I complained about that one, but of course they're avoiding it. They're not wanting to fix it, and this is McBride Homes. But those are already two common issues I see: improper venting and improper installation of drip edge / guttering. Coming up here on the roof, we got architectural shingle, and this is my house, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. I just figured I'd shoot a video on this since my house is a year old this week. But anyways, we got valleys, our California cut closed, which is typical in this area of the Midwest. Ridge, no ridge vent, as you could see, which there should be, especially over that garage section there. And then you can see actually where they cut for the ridge vent and didn't install it. There should be a vent up here so that soffit can come up and hit the ridge vent, and air creates a flow. When you have a gable on one end and the other end, it creates a cross wind or cross airflow. But what's the soffit supposed to do? Just come up and then know to bank right or left? It's just going to intersect, and the airflow is going to be all messed up. And I'll show you a graphic right now, basically showing you how it's supposed to work as far as soffit and ridge venting goes. Here's the graph I was talking about. This illustrates perfectly the soffit and ridge combo, which is currently one of the best combos, I guess, that there is. Most efficient, easiest. So you see on the left hand side, like right here, we'll zoom in there, that is a soffit. So air comes up from the bottom in the soffit, and there are baffles in the attic to keep insulation from blocking that soffit, which is the blue right here. Air flows up to the ridge, exits the ridge, and that is how airflow and goes through the attic, and the attic is vented. Now when you throw a gable in right here at the ridge, it messes that airflow up, and the roof will not vent properly. And I've seen homes with that combination of three, and it still has venting issues, because the more venting does not necessarily mean a better and properly vented roof. So just keep that in mind. So you can see how that's supposed to work. Second common air I see, which they did do it here. They didn't, there's no air. They they put sealant on these nail heads. So there's almost always going to be a ridge shingle that has nail heads on at least one shingle. They always forget to put sealant on them, but they did put sealant on these. Same with like any type of flashing. So you got this galvanized flashing here for the flue pipe. You can see where the 3 nails are. Almost always those are not sealed, and the reason that you need to seal those is so that the nails don't rust, because when the nails rust they shrink, and when they shrink it creates a gap where the hole of the original nail used to be, and water can leak in to the attic that way. So that's really a big one. I see that almost every roof is just no sealant on nail heads. We come down here, and I like the way they did this side. So this is kind of what I like to see. They don't cover up the flashing with more shingles. They just let it go over top of the next layer, which I like. But we go down here to where this other plumbing vent is, and guess what? They did that. And I don't know why they do it, because it can create a dam here. And I know that, you know, the flashing is over the other layer, which is fine, and they just do this for aesthetics so that you don't see all the aluminum. But this can create a dam for water, and then it's not, you know, flowing out properly or flowing down properly. And I don't know, it's just one of those annoyances, but I see it all the time on new construction. I don't really say anything about it just because it's not a huge issue, but it can create a, you know, a minor issue. Other things that I see, ridge shingles, and we can go up here to the top for this. They're supposed to be installed away from the wind, so whatever the windward facing side is, which is either going to be south or west, so we're looking west that way right now. The shingles need to overlap coming from that way, so that if there's a wind, there's no, you know, uplift on these to get underneath and rip the shingles off. So they did do that right. They got that right, but I see that all the time too, where they'll have them, you know, going the other way towards the wind side. If you get a strong wind, it can uplift those shingles and rip them off. So that's another common problem on new roofs. And I'm going to end the video there for that one, because this is a pretty simple, basic roof. But we'll do a part 2 once I come across a newer house that's a little bit more complicated, maybe one that's got a chimney and stuff, so we can kind of go over some other common errors. But that's it. And just to recap, we got improper venting. There should be a ridge vent here. They should get rid of the gables since they're soffit. No sealant on nail heads, which they did do that properly. Drip edge installed behind the guttering, or the guttering rather installed over top of the drip edge. That's a big one. And then ridge shingles facing windward, and the plumbing vents, just where the flashing is on those, they've shingled over it, and that's just kind of one of those annoyances. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for part 2, which will be coming in the future, and we'll see you on the next one.